Good afternoon, friend. I hope this note finds you well on this Thursday afternoon and your week is coming to a nice close and you're looking forward to a restful weekend ahead. I wanted to follow up with you all and give you an update in case you weren't able to attend the Missional Community informational meeting that happened this past Sunday. For those of you who did join, let me say thank you for your time. I was a bit blown away by the turnout. We had nearly 100 people who stayed after the 11 a.m. service to hear more about what we have in mind and how we feel like the Lord is leading us to plant a missional community in the southern parish. Now, I will say there are plenty of questions. This video is by no means going to answer all of those questions. I simply wanted to serve as an update and a summarization of what we covered in our time last Sunday, which is about a 30-minute meeting. So doing all that in about 5 minutes is going to abridge some of the information, if you will. So we first started out by simply reminding everyone that the Anglican mission in America is indeed a mission society. And what a mission society is truly about is evangelization. And so what that means is a mission society's first impulse within the world is evangelization and outreach that usually looks like the planting of churches, but it also looks like different forms of outreach and promotion of the gospel message through hospitality, through things like Alpha, and through other means of just building relationship and being that public witness that is the church in a localized community. And so All Saints itself was planted about 15 years ago, and some of that story was recapped within our Sunday afternoon meeting last Sunday. And Philip talked about that part of the DNA of All Saints has always been that which the Anglican mission is all about as a mission society. In fact, in the 15 years that All Saints has been around, we've planted 2 churches. The first one was All Saints East, which was a growth out of All Saints Dallas into the eastern part of the city. That's been around for about 10 years now. That grew into a church identity known as St. Bart's. St. Bart's has been around for about 10 years, very stable in the east side of town. And then 4 years ago, All Saints planted St. Patrick's, which is in the central part of the city there. And they are growing and they are stabilizing themselves over the past 4 years. And so plenty has happened within 15 years. We are a church that has planted 2 churches already. And so what a mission society does is constantly think about how might we push out other churches and how might we push out evangelistic efforts in all different areas where we have people. And so that's a big vision that we're discerning and praying about. And so that's the history of where we've been. Currently, All Saints has been growing, and we continue to grow at well above 750 people on a weekly basis now. And you all have felt just the space constraints within the building. And so we're contemplating growing into a 4th service in the new year and expanding and augmenting certain parts of the building to be accommodating and to be good stewards and be hospitable to the growth that is happening. That is one effort. The other effort is this missional community. And so this missional community is, as we have been alluding to, is going to be in the southern parish. And in fact, it's going to be in the southernmost part of the southern parish is where we feel like the most potential is presenting itself. And so when we talk about a missional community, well, we're not talking about a church plant, but we're not talking about a church plant yet. What we want this effort to be about is truly a work of evangelization and have that ethos and that identity. And so what we want is to practice hospitality, is to build a strong core in a localized area that is truly about outreach and meeting the needs of the local community, but then also being a faithful witness of what the church is and a faithful witness of Christ in that local community. What we feel as the Lord has drawn our hearts toward Waxahachie for plenty of different reasons, and several questions came during Sunday's meeting about location. I'm just not going to be able to recreate everything that was talked about in past Sunday in that meeting, but I will tell you that Sure, we have a large swath of geography when we say below I-20 in the southern parish. That ranges all the way from western Duncanville and DeSoto and Cedar Hill and even Lancaster to some point out east, and then down Red Oak, Ovilla, and then Waxahachie, and even some in Midlothian. What we feel as though we want to plant something that's far enough from All Saints currently where we are located downtown, but then also have a good growing group of density of people. And we have that in different parts of the southern part of the parish under I-20, but we feel like the greatest potential is in Waxahachie to grow not just a campus that would be focused more on convenience, or a campus that is servicing where people live currently who attend All Saints, but we really feel like there's a draw toward Waxahachie, and there's an identity, a need, a desire to grow a church in Waxahachie. And so our plan is to start with what we're calling a missional community. That missional community is essentially a church plant in the making. But what we don't want is to be our first foot forward as a church plant in a new area that we're worried about promotion and gathering people. What we want to be about is about practicing hospitality and sharing the gospel through a faithful witness that is localized, as we said. So I hope that's about as clear as I can be in a 5 to 6 minute video for you. If you have any questions, I would strongly encourage you to reach out. You can reach out directly to me. That was one of the questions, in fact, people have asked, like, well, who's going to be leading this thing? I will be leading this thing. And so the goal is for me to be the church planter of this thing, but not to leave All Saints. And so we have a pastoral resident, Ross Early, who many of you have met. He's been with us. He started full-time as a pastoral resident this past July, and part of his 2-year pastoral residency is going to be an experience that I can't replicate in any other way but to build a missional community with him. And so that's going to be part of his laboratory and part of his training in pastoral ministry. But I will be the church planter, the lead planter who will be leading this work of this mission community, in hopes that in a couple of years this reaches church plant status and it can stabilize in the local area. If it never does that, we will at least have a mission outpost in the most southern part of where All Saints has a presence. And so let me say this: if you feel drawn to know more, our very next step is this. In the month of November, we're going to have a vision dinner down in Waxahachie. If you're interested to learn more, but not just to learn more, if you're interested in being involved in some kind of way, I'm going to ask that you simply reach out to me. Send me an email, guy@ascdallas.org. Those of you who live below I-20, you will get a directed email because we're looking at that as our target area. Again, it's very broad, and so some people will feel as though they want to be part of a mission work, and some people who live even close to that area will feel like they still want to be part of All Saints here in Dallas. That's fine. Our goal is to see who the Lord draws to this work and who the Lord will begin to send into that area in the months and in the year to come. We have a plan that outlays the whole first year of activity on a pretty high level. That I'm certainly not going to share in a 5-minute video, but that will be shared in our vision dinner. And so if you're interested, again, send me an email. I would love to chat with you more about that. Our first phase of growth down in the Waxahachie area is going to be a mission community that grows, that develops, that does outreach. Next year, Alpha is going to be a part of that in that area. And then, Lord willing, He continues to lead us in the growth, and that little mission community becomes a church plant in the Lord's time, and as it should and when it should. And so, friends, I hope that's helpful. I hope that provides a little bit more information. If you don't live in that target area, I still will encourage you, and you'll hear about this more and more in the months to come, to begin to pray that the Lord would provide financially, to pray that the Lord would provide with people, to pray that the Lord would open up doors and open up new relationships so that whatever He wills, we would find ourselves participating in the way that the Lord is already moving. And so with that, friends, I hope this video gives you as much information as you can. Begin to pray now, and if you're interested, reach out to me. I would love to tell you more about the Vision Dinner and perhaps even have a coffee before then and answer any other questions you might have. So with that, I pray you go into the rest of the week with the Lord's peace, guarding you, keeping you, and guiding you, and I look forward to seeing you at one of our services this Sunday morning.